I've had quite a few questions recently about comping, especially with other instruments, people wanting to know how to handle advanced chord symbols, and there's others who are just asking about how to play with bass and drums and that kind of stuff. And I got this question from Martin Waugh, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, who talks about piano comping techniques for playing and comping with other instruments such as guitar. I tend to want to tread on their toes, and unless there's good communication, it can be a problem. Also, with comping with bass solos, since it seems to be a contentious point. Well, I think in that question lies the answer. You're actually answering your own question. I'm going to tell you exactly what that is, and I'm going to give you some examples of how to comp with bass and guitar, and we're going to get started right now. Okay, so Martin, you're answering your own question by saying this: I tend to want to tread on their toes, and unless there's good communication, it can be a problem. So the answer to your question is do not tread on their toes. That's really the whole point of letting someone else solo, is you're there in a supporting role. You're there to accentuate what they're doing and definitely not getting in their way. So when in doubt, the first thing to do is play as sparsely as you can. Because quite frankly, there's so much thinking about what they're doing, they're not actually listening to you. Now, it takes a lot of skill to be able to do both. Yes, the drums is kind of keeping the feel going, it's in the background, but as far as comping is concerned, I can tell you most soloists are not really thinking about what you're doing. They're thinking about what they're doing, and your job is to kind of fit in around that. So an example of this might be, let's take and we're going to work on the blues today because I think it's a simple thing to do. So just as you were comping for your soloing in your left hand, you notice the left hand is just sort of playing accents, filling in the blanks where the right hand is not playing. And you want to do that for guitar as well. So if the guitar player is doing this, so you see where the guitar stopped, the piano tends to fill in a couple of chords in that space. Let's do another one. So you see, I'm just picking up where the guitar player is leaving off. So listen, first of all, for those spaces. And if you're going to play chords on top of what they're playing, make sure that you're not interrupting their feel. So if they're doing this, don't be doing things like this. You're just soloing against them, and I can guarantee you that's not going to end well. So let me give you an example. I've gone ahead and I've recorded a quick bass solo, and I'm going to give you an example of playing along with the bass. Now, the guitar is exactly the same. Any other instrument is exactly the same. What you want to do, first of all, is absolutely listen to what they're playing and stay out of their way while spelling the chords as the chords are moving by. You want to be as little or less busy as possible. So let me play one chorus of a bass solo and let's see how that goes. Okay, so in that example, I think you could hear that the bass player is just kind of playing eighth notes, and the job of a piano player is to just spell the chords here and there, and wherever there's space, you want to fill that in. And of course, that takes a lot of listening. So first and foremost, and again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse on this thing, but you really want to just listen to what they're doing, because a lot of times it's hard to tell. They all have their own soloing styles, and without listening, you're going to be dead in the water. The one thing that I wanted to explain about comping is that as a piano player, there's comping in general. There's simple comping and advanced comping, but I'm really talking about the chords themselves. So one of the things that I would like to show you is that when I'm playing over an F7 chord and then getting to B flat 7 and then back to F7, and this is just the first 3 bars of blues, in the left hand, what I'm doing is I'm playing a fourth. So E flat, A, and D, just like that. And in the right hand, I'm playing, and I'm keeping going up in fourths, and then a fifth on top, like this. So really simple. And the reason why I'm doing that is this is the 9th of the chord, and this is the 13th. And then in the left hand, you've got 3 and flat 7, and you've also got the 13th as well. And then what you want to do when you go to the B flat is go to something that is closest. And so that's a pretty simple thing to do, is we're just dropping to the nearest most available notes. So in this particular case, it's D, A flat, and C. And of course, these 2 notes are 3 and flat 7, and then the top note is the 9th of the chord, so we're going to add a 9 here. And then in the right hand, you want to do 13, which is here. And then on top, a C, which is also the 9th. So you're playing the 9th with both hands. And again, you want to think about, as you're playing, what rhythms do I play? So for example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So get that half or eighth note in front of the beat. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Or and then all I'm doing there is just sidestepping by a half note above or a minor second above. Just a half step. And I can do it from both sides, right? Again, the piano player is really thinking about these types of rhythms where you've got eighth note there, eighth note there. Keep sticking with that as much as possible, because that's definitely going to stay out of their way. What you don't want to do is do things like this. Is play too much. Again, it's just getting in the way of the soloist, and that's what you want to try to avoid. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it's your turn to solo, you want to take those last 2 bars before the head starts and just sort of play some kind of intro fill. Okay, what else can we talk about here in terms of playing along with the guitar? I would say, well, again, just like any solo instrument, and a guitar is really a solo instrument because they're typically going to be playing once in a while chords, but most of the time single note soloing. Just like you would on the piano where you're single note soloing with the right hand, the guitar is also doing that. As far as other instruments are concerned, it's really the same rule for all of them. Get out of their way, fill in the spaces between where they're playing, and spell the chords as they're going along. And if you follow those rules, you can't tread on anyone's toes. I've been in situations early on in my career where I was playing with some pretty advanced players, probably that I wasn't quite ready for. And you could tell that they were a little bit annoyed. They would sometimes glance over at me and kind of scowl or whatever because I'm not staying out of their way. And again, that's really the rule of this thing, is just to get out of their way. Don't tread on their toes. Let them do what they want to do, and try and find places to fit around that. I think fitting around it is better words than fitting into it. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any other questions about comping, either with playing with other people or just comping in general, please ask them below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. That'd be cool. See you later.